Hi, I'm Bjorn from Skeino. Today I want to share with you what you requested, and we had a lot of emails from you. You wanted to see it. It's done, the Miss Grace scarf. And I will share with you some little tricks and some little things how to do the scarf, because the yarn is thicker and I made the pattern much easier. And just follow me and let's see how we can share this together. This is the Miss Grace scarf. You are sharing it with me now, and I want to explain the pattern details. The pattern will have a chart so you can follow very easy, but here now it's nice to see. I want to share you how this is done. So everything is garter stitch exactly as the Miss Grace shawl, and the base yarn here, the dark one, it's a color Night. It is a superwash merino in DK. One skein needed for the scarf, has 270 yards. And the Venice yarn, which one is knitting the forms and the stripes, has 300 yards. The Venice yarn is thicker than the merino yarn, but it makes the whole thing a little bit has more texture, and it looks like the fields here or the forms here are thicker. So you see it has a higher level and a lower level. So I started I'm casting on 50 stitches. We need, for the full form, we need 40 stitches. So I have on both sides 5 stitches kind of for the edge. So the edge goes all the way here, but it's invisible. And for the half form, you see here a little bit a straight line. It shows on both sides that the half form has the 5 stitches here for the edge. So I started with several rows, just garter stitch, and the half form one is, and it shows in the pattern, it will be called the half form on the right side and the half form on the left side. This, you look at the right side from the scarf, the wrong side would be a little bit different. I will turn it around a little later. So the half form starts here with the 5 stitches and then with the 20, and goes 2 stitches each turn for the garter stitch backwards. And with the half form on the left side, you knit all the way across to the end and go back for the 20, and then it will be reduced each time when the short row ends with 2 stitches. So this is how the half forms are done. The full form here starts kind of the same way. You knit the 5 stitches, then the 20 stitches all the way across, going back, stop after 20 stitches, and the next row goes 22, come back 20, 22, come back 20. So the whole form shifts all the way over from the left side to the right, from the right side to the left side, and in total you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 garter stitch ridges here to create the complete form. The same here with the half forms. And the rows in between with the base yarn, it varies from 5, 3, here's 1 garter stitch ridge, here are 2. So this is kind of the part of the freeform shawl. It's very simple, and the repeat comes 2 half forms, a full form, 2 half form and a full form, 2 half form and a full form, all the way across the shawl until your yarn is completely knitted up. So the whole scarf knits up, both skeins completely. I had only a few inches left because it doesn't matter how the scarf looks on the left side, the end here different than on the other side. There's a slight difference, but it really doesn't matter because it's a free form. So you see it ends with the 2 half forms. Here's the big form, the full form, and my next 2 samples I will explain how I carry the base yarn on the side here. And you cannot see it really, but it's woven into the side. So on the left side you don't need it because you have only here 2 rows, and you can carry this over here, the 2 rows. But when you have the long stretch from the half form on your edge, you need to carry the base yarn from here all the way up to here, and I will show you how to do this. While I was knitting this scarf, I tried several things to switch the yarn from the base yarn to the Venice yarn, and you see over here, here's a long loop, so this is not really nice, so try to avoid this so you have a nice edge and to show your freeform scarf. So the next sample I will show you how I carry the yarn all the way up. So this is our first sample, and it's done in the color Aida. The base color is a yellow yarn, and the Venice yarn is a multicolored yarn. This is slightly multicolored, but the Venice yarn shows a little bit more excitement. So, and as you know, Aida is the queen from the desert. It's the opera from Verdi. So that's why we picked the bright yellow color and a lot of gold, because she was so rich. So now here is a problem that the base yarn here needs to be carried from here all the way up until the half form on the right is finished. And you see I'm weaving it while I'm knitting this on the side. So you see here the Venice yarn is woven in here and here, so it's invisible. It doesn't make a bow here. So you just move it from the front to the back and from the back to the front between the first and the second stitch. So the half form on the right, I started with 7 stitches, and then I wrapped it around stitch number 8 and turn around. So, and then the next row is 2 more, would be 9, and the next is 11, and so far until you reach 25, because the 5 stitches from the edge, and the form needs a total of 20 stitches. So I will show you now how I cross the threads. So I was knitting backwards, and I'm starting now a new row. So I have not knitted the last stitch here, and my base yarn is hanging out to the front. So I'm grabbing now my new yarn, which one I will work the next row. I bring the yarn to the back and knit the first stitch, and then I'm bringing the yarn, which one I'm not knitting with, from the front to the back, and then just, oops, I lost my stitch, that's happened. So you bring it out of the way, and then you see here it makes another loop. So, and then I'm knitting across all the way to the end. Remember, I think we have to count 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That was the number from, I'll put a little bit yarn out here, was the number from my row before. Now I have to knit 2 more stitches. I'm going in the back leg from the stitch, and another one, and slip, bring the yarn to the front, put the stitch back on the needle, and turn my work. So now you see here's the yarn I'm not using. So keep knitting the back row. Here is my wrap stitch. I showed it in the video for a week ago. So I'm knitting now to the end, and I'll show you how I weave my unused yarn in again from the front to the back. So knitting all the way to the end, but not knitting the last stitch. So here is where I stop. and just slip that one. Turn my work. So I'm wrap the yarn around here to have a nice edge. Knit the first stitch, and then I'm bringing the yarn I'm not using from the back to the front. Pull it a little tighter, so, and it's woven in, and now I'm knitting again to the end. So I will show you how this is woven in here. So you see it's here up and here up, but later on when you're ready with your form, you just pull the thread a little bit and it tightens, and then it disappears almost completely in your garter stitch ridges. But that's a good way to carry the yarn when you have to do the half form on the right side. On the left side it doesn't matter because you're ending up only with one garter stitch row. So this is a sample knitted in Aida, the golden yellow base color and the multicolor for the right rows here, and to show off the free form, and then the form on the right, and then the left, and the full form, and working all the way through their scarf. My next sample, I will show you how to start the full form. See you then. This sample is knitted in the color apricot, and as you see, if somebody don't want to have a lot of color differences, a little bit more quiet, just tone and tone, this is the color for you. So the Venice yarn is almost matching the slightly brighter merino yarn. And you see here that the needles are in an angle because you knit much higher on both sides with where the half form is, but it's ready to take the full form, which one is, as you know already, it is the diamond form, and I will show you an original again. So you see here, it's where our knitting needle is in here, and it's ready to take the diamond in the center. So, and I can show you again the left form. You have to carry the yarn, the base yarn, and you see here there's a little longer stretch. It's woven in here in the side, and when I turn it around you really can see it. But when you wash it, it will completely disappear. But that's the best way to carry the yarn over a long distance on the side. So the left edge is no problem at all, because this is always where you turn around for your short rows. So this is all nice and even, and pay really attention to your right edge to make it as nice and clean as you can. And so that's actually all what needs to be done. The chart in the pattern will show exactly the right half form, the left half form, and the full form in the center. And these three forms are being repeated. There's a one repeat, it's repeated 3 times, and then on the very end you have 2 more half forms to make the scarf kind of free form but still symmetric. So there's not much to stitch in. You have the 2 ends from the 2 yarns, and you can do this nicely and even so that nobody will find out where the ends are. And the long form starts with the 5 stitches here from the edge, and then you have 20 stitches all the way across before you turn around for your first short row, and then you shift the diamond shape for the full form to finish this to the left. So it's pretty easy, all garter stitch. It's a little bit counting, but after a little while you will see exactly where your short row ends. You have to stitch over the last turnaround where you wrap the stitch around the stitch, and when you have to turn around. This is just watching as your piece grows. It grows really pretty fast, and so you can do the scarf on the weekend, I think. We are offering the wooden needle as well, and so if you don't have the number 10, It's a number 10, it's 6mm, and they are 9 inches long. This is one of my favorite pairs here, nicely wood carved on the end. The needles we are providing, they are from bamboo. There are dark needles and light needles. It depends on the yarn you're choosing. So here it's nice to see to have a dark needle. It would work with a light one as well. So I hope I inspired you to knit this scarf. Some people have seen it and they said, okay, it looks like it could be a nice table runner somewhere. So it's up to you what you're doing with this. So I hope you enjoyed my little tutorial here, and if you have any more questions, just let me know. They are always welcome, so we can take care of this and maybe put it in our pattern so everybody can participate on another learning experience. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy knitting.